it's just everything. And if you can kind of insert that into your stories, like I'm currently writing something where I'm like, oh, wow, I probably should have taken my own advice and made the setting matter, because I'm kind of like now like, oh, crap. So,
Mm,
um, yeah, I mean, regardless of even about mentioning the debut, I just think the stories we all remember, the movies we all remember. I mean, whether it's even like, you like Stephen King, but like Misery, like, him being trapped in that location, Saw, whether you like that movie and the violence and that type of villain or whatever, but like settings, everything in that. And, the
yeah.
thing, the thing. And then you have someone like Tarantino who references the thing for the Hateful Eight, that whole notion of pick a great setting, throw a bunch of guys in a room, and then lock the doors and toss away the key. Like and you're going to get so much conflict. And then if you could pick a place like the thing, guess what? They're in Antarctica. can't
Yeah.
really can't really run off.
Yeah.
And then
Trapped.
you got McCready with the helicopter and flight conditions and all that stuff. And then the radios are down, and then but you're back in that setting, and then the weather impacts departure, and obviously that comes up in Shining and everything. But those are really great choices.
Yes. Yeah.
And the funny thing about this isn't a knock on anybody, but I just mean those are, if people paid a little bit more attention to setting, and I still need to do this even a bit more, but if they paid attention to the value of setting and what it could do for you, I mean, you know, it's pretty simple in The Shining, that location. I mean, it's amazing and you'll never forget it. But I just mean the scenario. Okay.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
in an isolated place that nobody could get to, and then the weather's bad. It's like that's a pretty easy formula if you pay attention. And then can you do it without it being like, oh, Thomas or Eric just want to write another Shining? But you can use those same moves to kind of then connect it to what you want to communicate. That's why setting it is everything, and it's the best because um, you just pick a place or something that's going to really put your character through hell.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned recreating a similar location or setting that was infamous without it being derivative. And you mentioned Saw. I feel like Saw does that. And yes, I do. I'm not a huge Saw franchise fan, but the first movie is solid. It's a great, great movie. I love the twist at the end. And spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen Saw, I'm about to spoil something at the end. But at the end, when he gets up off that nasty, dirty bathroom floor, and that is a shock. But for me, the shot that lingers the most is, in my mind, I feel it's a direct callback to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre when he slams that sliding door shut. And
Yeah.
it's essentially the same scene. And when you start thinking about other location and setting connections, you start to see that there are a lot of similarities there, but something about that metal door sliding shut, and that this is the end. And it's the same with Leatherface. When he slams that door, that it is the end for that person he's got behind the door with him.
Oh man, no, that's a great connection. I never thought of that one. It's a really good one.
It just popped into my head when you were talking about it. But once again, that's the power of location and setting, because I hadn't made that connection either. But when you said it, then it went together. And so, yeah, it is. It's so powerful. And I'm doing similar to you. I'm trying to put a lot more of that into my writing.